Welcome back to the deep dive. So if you're like most of us, you've probably moved past that initial shock of what large language models can do.
Right.
And now you're asking the real question, okay, how do I actually build something with this? How do I get past the chat window?
That is the core challenge.
Yeah.
There's a huge gap between just chatting with an LLM and actually programming with one. It's a chasm, really.
And that's what we're here to do today, right? To
Right.
bridge that gap. We've pulled together some great sources that lay out a clear roadmap.
A roadmap across 3 distinct levels of, let's call it LLM engagement.
Before we jump in, let's just quickly frame the tool itself. People say an LLM is just a fancy autocomplete.
Which is technically true, I suppose, but it really misses the point.
It does. I think a better way to think about it is like a massive probabilistic simulation of all human knowledge and reasoning.
Exactly. And that power just multiplies when we start talking about multimodal language models, or MLLMs.
So now we're talking about more than just text.
Way more. We're talking audio, video, images, and text all at the same time.
The classic example is you upload an image of a complex chart, not the data, just the picture.
And you can just ask it, what's the trend here? Or how could this visualization be better? That's the multimodal part.
So our mission for you today is clarity. We're going to walk through 3 stages: the explorer, the builder, and then the architect.
Right. Consumer use, developer integration, and then the really deep stuff, advanced customization. Let's start at level 1.
Okay, level 1, the explorer stage. This is probably where most people are right now.
For sure. You're using these models without writing a single line of code.
It's all about simplicity, speed, and getting immediate value from those conversational UIs.
At this level, the LLM is your best personal assistant. I mean, it's summarizing dense papers for you, drafting emails.
Brainstorming ideas, explaining a really tough topic like you're in the 5th grade.
Exactly. But there's a really interesting piece of level 1 our sources point to. They call it the middle layer.
Ah, okay. So this is the space between a simple chatbot and a full-on coded application.
Yes. Think of things like custom GPTs or Google's Gems. These let you add your own instructions, upload files.
If you're giving it specific knowledge.
You are, and this is fantastic for rapid prototyping. You can even power some simple internal tools this way without ever touching an API.
So as an explorer, you're accessing these models in 1 of 2 ways. Path A is just using the model provider's own website.
Right, going straight to the source. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, or even using hosted open-weight models like Llama or Mixtral through services like Grok or Fireworks.
And your control there is pretty limited. You can pick a model, maybe change the temperature, how creative it gets.
But that's about it. No programmatic access. You can't build its logic into your app.
Path B is the third-party tools, the AI that's already baked into things you use every day.
Like Notion AI or Copilot in VS Code.
And the sources make a good distinction here between AI-native tools and AI-augmented tools.
Right. An AI-native tool is something where the AI is the product, like an image generator like Night Cafe.
Whereas an AI-augmented tool is more like a helper. Slack AI summarizing a thread for you, or Shopify Magic writing a product description.
Okay, so level 1 is fast, it's easy. Why would anyone ever leave? Why get into coding and APIs?
That brings us to the elephant in the room, the big risk.
The gotcha. And it's hallucinations.
Every LLM, no matter how good, will confidently make things up.
And stated as absolute fact, this is so critical. For anything important, legal, medical, financial advice, you just cannot trust the output without verification.
The danger of level 1 is that the convenience makes you lazy. You start to over-rely on it.
So when do you know it's time to level up?
The moment you need automation and integration, if you find yourself copying and pasting the same prompt over and over again every day,
that's your signal? Or you need to process thousands of documents at once. That kind of repetition means you need programmatic access.
And that takes us straight to level 2, developer integration.
Okay, level 2, the builder stage. Now you're moving away from the UI and you're starting to make API calls with code.
This is where you can build AI directly into your apps and automate those really complex workflows.
The use cases here are really powerful. An embedded Q&A bot on your support site, for example.
Or a system that automatically classifies incoming support tickets. Data analysis at a huge scale.
But with great power comes, well, a new set of problems.
The builder's trade-offs checklist. Let's start with the big one, cost.
API bills can spike, and they can spike fast. You have to watch your token usage.
And a token is roughly, what, 3/4 of a word?
About that, yeah. And the hidden cost isn't just what you send to the model, it's the huge response it sends back. Your output tokens are often the real budget killer.
Next on the checklist, lock in.
Every provider's model behaves a little differently. If you build your entire logic around one model, you're stuck.
So you need to keep your prompts portable, build in some abstraction.
Or you'll be locked into a model that's suddenly too expensive or outdated.
And finally, the really important one, data privacy.
You absolutely have to know where your data is going. For sensitive info, like internal company documents, you either need an enterprise plan with strict privacy guarantees.
Or you need to start looking at self-hosting right away.
Okay, so let's talk about access paths for the builder. The first one is the managed path, hosted APIs.
This is the easy button for level 2. You get high uptime, zero maintenance. You just pay per token.
For almost every startup and most production apps, this is where you start. It's all about speed.
But what happens when that monthly API bill starts creeping up? Our sources point to a specific threshold.
They do. It's around $5,000 to $10,000 a month. When you consistently hit that number, that's when the CFO starts knocking on your door.
And that's the trigger to seriously evaluate the full control path, self-hosting.
This means running an open-weight model like Llama or Mistral on your own servers, either in the cloud or on-prem.
The biggest advantage here is data sovereignty. Your data never leaves your network. Privacy problem solved.
Exactly, and you move from a variable per token cost to a fixed operational cost for your hardware. It's a bigger upfront effort, but it can be cheaper at very high volumes.
Now, here's where things get really interesting for the builder. A technique called context-augmented generation, or CAG.
CAG is such a critical concept. It's the umbrella term for any method that gives the LLM fresh, external information at the moment you ask the question.
So you're giving it supplemental data right in the prompt.
You are. So the answer is grounded in specific up-to-the-minute facts, not just its old training data.
It's the bridge between simple prompting and the complexity of full fine-tuning.
And the most common, most important pattern of CAG is retrieval augmented generation, RAG.
This is what everyone is talking about.
RAG is how you make an LLM an expert on your company. You take your internal documents, your wikis, your PDFs, and you put them into a special vector database.
When a user asks a question, the system first searches that database for the most relevant snippets of text.
Right. It finds maybe the top 3 or 4 chunks of info, and then it passes those along with the original question to the LLM.
So the LLM's job is just to synthesize an answer from the documents you just gave it.
Precisely. It becomes a super intelligent summarizer of your own grounded source material. The sources point to enterprise tools like Glean that do exactly this, providing answers with citations, all without ever retraining the model.
Okay, so you've built your IG solution, and it's working. What's next?
Production optimization. Now you're tuning the infrastructure around the model, the serving layer.
And this is all about making it cheaper, faster, and more reliable for thousands of users.
We're talking about things like multi-model routing. Simple questions go to a cheap, fast model. Hard questions go to the expensive, powerful one.
Or a technique I find fascinating, speculative decoding.
It sounds complex, but the idea is brilliant. It can cut your response time by 30 or 40%.
So how does it work?
You have a small, fast model draft and answer instantly. Then a bigger, stronger model just verifies and corrects that draft instead of writing it from scratch.
So you get the speed of the small model with the quality of the big one.
Exactly. Near instant replies.
And when do you move on from this builder stage?
You only level up when RAG just isn't enough to handle some really niche reasoning, or when compliance requires a totally error-gapped system.
Which brings us to our final stage, level 3, advanced customization, the architect.
Now we are no longer just using the model, we are fundamentally changing it. We're modifying its internal leads by training it on our own specialized data.
This is serious business. You need machine learning expertise, special hardware.
The goal here is different from RAG. We're not just injecting context. We're trying to alter the model's core knowledge or force it to adopt a very specific style.
So the use cases are really specific. Enforcing a consistent style for legal documents, for example.
Or teaching it specialized terminology like clinical shorthands the doctors use, or a niche coding language for an internal company framework.
There are 2 main paths here. The first is traditional fine-tuning.
This is where you're training the model on your domain data to deeply change its knowledge. It's the gold standard for getting that specialized terminology just right.
But it's also very expensive and time-consuming.
It is. Which brings us to Path B, which is much more popular right now, adapter training. You'll hear it called LoRa or QLoRa.
Okay, what's the difference?
It's a much more lightweight approach. The best analogy is that you're adding a color filter to the model.
A color filter, I like that.
Instead of retraining the whole thing, you freeze the huge base model and just add these tiny new adapter layers on top, often less than 1% of the original size.
And that's enough to change its behavior.
It is. It's much faster, much cheaper, and you can train many different adapters for different tasks and just swap them in and out on the same base model.
But the big challenge at this level, the thing that stops most projects, is the data bottleneck.
Absolutely. RAG can work with the documents you already have. Fine-tuning needs a brand new, high-quality, human-verified dataset.
A set of ideal inputs paired with the perfect desired outputs.
And that is the steepest hill to climb. Garbage in, garbage out. If your data is bad, you'll just end up with a very confident, very customized, and very wrong model.
So after laying all this out, explorer, builder, architect, what's the smart way to navigate this? You don't just jump into level 3.
No, definitely not. The recommended path is very conservative. First, spend days just exploring in the UI. Really understand what the model can and can't do.
Then prototype for a few weeks with a hosted API.
If you need your own data, add RAG. And only after running a RAG system for months do you look at that API bill, that $5,000 to $10,000 bill, and decide if self-hosting is worth the complexity.
And fine-tuning is the absolute last resort.
Only if RAG completely fails to give you the behavior you need.
So the final decision matrix is, if you're just exploring, stay at the consumer level.
If you're building a product or automating a workflow, start with developer integration using hosted APIs. They're the fastest path to shipping.
If you need specialized terminology, try RAG first. It will probably work.
And if you know from day one that you need maximum privacy or you're expecting massive volume,
Then you go straight to evaluating the self-hosted path.
so what's the one big takeaway from all of this?
The best model is the one you actually ship.
That's it. Don't over-engineer. Start simple, iterate quickly, get something out there. The feedback you get from a real shipped level 2 product is what will tell you if you even need level 3.
So to recap, we've walked you through the 3 stages: the explorer, the builder, and the architect. And the key insight really is that for most problems, RAG is the answer. It keeps you firmly and very effectively in that builder stage.
And here's a final thought for you. The real skill of the future architect probably won't be in perfecting one fine-tuned model. It will be in knowing when to throw that expensive custom model away.
And immediately switch to the new, better, cheaper, state-of-the-art model that just got released.
Exactly. Mastery here isn't about picking the right tool and sticking with it. It's about building a flexible system that lets you adapt and switch to whatever is best whenever it emerges.
So get practicing. Go build something small but useful today.
Dive in and keep exploring.
We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.